Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different from what I've been doing, which is a lot of makeup tutorials. Today I am going to be talking about my top 5 favorite makeup palettes, and I specifically chose palettes that are permanent items. They're not ones that, you know, came for a month and are gone, and it's really depressing because then you can't buy it again. So what is the point of me talking about it? Because I'm just gonna give you FOMO, and nobody wants that. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I just picked out 5. I actually picked out 6. I picked out an honorable mention. Again, in no particular order. I'm just going to get started. And I am going to start with the Lorac Pro Palette 2. And I know that everyone raves about the 1, and the 1 is fantastic. Like, if you don't have a lot of eyeshadows in your makeup collection, the 1 would be perfect for you. It's very standard neutrals. It had a lot of neutral browns in there. I chose the 2 because I really like the color variety a little bit more in the 2 versus the 1, and it is a little bit more cool toned versus warm toned, and I usually wear warm tones, so sometimes it's really nice to step away from that and, you know, throw some cool tone shadows on my eyeballs, because why not? What I love about these palettes is that they come with 16 shadows, 8 are matte and 8 are shimmer, so you get a variety of finishes, which is really nice. These palettes do retail for $44, and you can purchase them at Ulta or on the Lorac website. The downfall to this palette are the size of the pans. They are 0.02 ounces each, which is very small in comparison to like a standard eyeshadow pan, you know, like MAC or Makeup Geek. The positive note, even though they are small, is that they are amazing. They do kick up some dust, which I am fine with. I really don't care, as long as it's not like wasting half of the pan when I dip my brush in. And by that, if you don't know what I mean, that's when you kind of do this little number, and you can kind of see all of that dust that went everywhere. That's a pain in the ass, but again, I can look past it because the shadows are really pretty, and they're really blendable, and they're very creamy, which is importante. The way that they go in this is they didn't name them anything special, they just named them what the color is, and basically what the color says, that's the color that you get. The next palette I will talk about is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. Everyone knows what this palette looks like. It is beautiful, and it is all mattes, which is amazing. So if you are not a fan of shimmers, this palette is for you. I specifically love this palette because of how they kind of arrange the colors. They put them in quads, basically. So this quad right here, these are neutral browns. These 4, those are cool browns, and these are warm browns. They don't kick up a lot of dust. They're very pigmented, they're very smooth, they're very blendable. It's basically the perfect palette. If you want a matte palette and you don't fucks with color, this is the bad boy for you. The big shades are 0.08 ounces, which is large, and they do that because they assume these are going to be the most commonly used shades in the palette. The little ones are they're 0.04 ounces, and they're pretty large, as you can see. This is basically the layout of most of Kat Von D's eyeshadow palettes. I think that it's awesome that she keeps it consistent, and if you didn't know, Kat actually does the designs of all of her palettes herself. Obviously, she's a she's a makeup artist, but tattoo artist. So she does all of the designs for everything that she puts out herself, which I think is so awesome. I will get into the shade names and how they are described. Here we have Latest, a creamy nude, Samael, a dusty fawn, Solas, an espresso brown, Lucius, a soft beige, Lazarus, a cool taupe, Celios, a smoky brown, Shax, a jet black, Liberatus, a pinkish ivory, Ludwin, a peachy bronze, Succubus, a rich rust, Citri, a chocolate brown, and Latinus, a golden bisque. Next, I'm going to talk about this bad boy, the Morphe 350 palette, which is surprisingly in stock these days. I know I didn't get mine for a very long time after it became all the rage, and I don't regret it one bit. This is what it looks like if for some reason you don't know. Very warm, very delicious. There are 35 shades in here, 21 of them if I counted right, 21 of them are mattes and 14 are shimmers. This retails for $22.99, and I never told you what the Kat Von D one is. This is $46. But this is $22.99, and I am stunned by the quality of these shadows for the price. Like, $22.99, I don't know what you really expect. You don't really expect, you know, Kat Von D, but you get, like, basically Kat Von D when you purchase this. I highly recommend them. I will be purchasing more very shortly. My favorite part of this palette is kind of like these first 4 rows right here. I pretty much, whenever I use this palette, I'm always using at least these 3 oranges. I don't know, they're just very amazing, you know? They don't really have shade names though. It's so worth it. It's so worth the hype. They recently-ish came out with the 35OM and the 35OS, which are all matte and all shimmer, just like these exact colors, but they made them all mattes or all shimmers. So they're like identical, but different finishes, which is really, really cool. I think it's a really cool concept, especially since it's such a cult favorite palette. My next palette I am going to talk about is the Urban Decay Electric palette. I've had this baby for a while. I'm gonna show you just how long. I dropped it once a couple of years ago while I was getting ready, and it broke, and I'm very glad that that broke and not like my shadows, because I would have been really sad. This palette is not for people who don't like color. If you want to start getting into like pops of color here and there and you don't really have any colorful eyeshadows, this is a really good one to start with, especially if it's summertime like it is now. I mean, what you see with these shades is what you get. These are pressed pigments. This retails for $49. It's my favorite colorful eyeshadow palette of all time. We have Revolt, which is a bright metallic silver shimmer with silver glitter. We have Gonzo, which is a bright turquoise matte with floating tonal pearl. We have Slow Burn, a bright red-orange matte with floating pearl. Savage, a bright hot pink matte. Fringe, bright metallic teal. Chaos, a bright blue matte with floating tonal pearl. Jilted, a bright metallic fuchsia with blue shift. Urban, a bright metallic purple. Freak, a bright green with gold shift. And Thrash, a bright lime green matte with floating gold pearl. Right, my last top 5, actual top 5 real favorites is obviously the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I kind of knew that I was going to love this when I first saw pictures of it. I just didn't know that I was going to love it as much as I do. This retails for $42. They have 11 mattes and 3 shimmers. And a little side note, this Vermeer shadow right here is the most stunning highlight, face highlight. If you haven't used it like as a cheekbone highlight, nose highlight, whatever, try it. And then come and thank me later because it's awesome. They have the most delicious warm browns and reds and oranges that you could ever ask for. These kick up a lot of dust, a lot of dust. But it is so pretty that, again, I can look past it. And since she made this a permanent item, I can repurchase it. So that's fantastic. The shades in here are Tempera, which is described as a beige with an ultra matte finish. Golden Ochre, an earthy yellow with an ultra matte finish. Vermeer, an iridescent shell with a metallic finish. Buon Fresco, Antique Lavender with an ultra matte finish. Antique Bronze, Metallic Sable with a satin finish. Love Letter, Raspberry with an ultra matte finish. Cypress Umber, a dark coffee with an ultra matte finish. Raw Sienna is a neutral amber with an ultra matte finish. Burnt Orange is a deep orange with an ultra matte finish. Primavera is a shimmery gold with an ultra matte finish. Red Ochre is a sienna with an ultra matte finish. Venetian Red is crimson with an ultra matte finish. Warm Taupe is an earthy gray with an ultra matte finish. And Realgar is a brick with an ultra matte finish. You know what, guys? Primavera is not an ultra matte finish. I don't know why the website says that. It's very much metallic finish. So, correction. Okay, and then I'm giving an honorable mention to a palette that I absolutely love. I just don't reach for it all the time, but I think that if you are somebody who only wants like brown shadows, gold shadows, a little bit of matte, a little bit of shimmer, I think that mine's a little dirty, I'm really sorry. The Lorac Unzipped 2 palette, not 2, the Lorac Unzipped Gold palette is perfect. They're almost better quality shadows than the Lorac Pro palettes. They seem to be a little bit more smooth, which is weird because the Lorac shadows are already fantastic. Like this feels like I'm dipping in a cream shadow. And look at this. This color alone is why I bought this palette, because it looks like a freaking penny just rubbed off on my finger. And it's so pretty. Are you serious? That color alone is worth the $42 that I paid for this palette. They are very large squares as well. They're 0.04 ounces each, which is a really nice size. And this has 6 shimmers, 4 mattes. If you're in the market for a basic palette, you should pick this one up. Alright guys, that completes this video. Let me know down below if you like these kinds of videos, because I could totally keep this going, and it was really fun for me to go and sift through my makeup and see what I have. Thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Don't forget to comment. Tell me what you think, what you want to see, if you want to see anything. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!